Hi. So yes, I'm Deborah Stevens. I work at Hartnell Library. I only have a few slides, and I'm glad that like Sarah and Diane went first because they covered the kind of the why of screencasting, which I didn't really go into. It's just like I'm here to talk about Active Presenter, which I am a fan of freeware. If you noticed that in the introduction, because I'm constantly amazed at how many features you can get for free. And Active Presenter is one of those that I think is actually pretty remarkable in terms of what they will give you for free. So why do I like Active Presenter? So the pros, yes, free, full featured. I mean, not as full featured as Camtasia Studio, but pretty good. And it does have a pretty active user base, which is a nice thing when you're looking at these free systems. That's one of the problems that you can run into is it's like, sure, it's great, but if you have any questions ever, you're on your own, right? But, there's some bad, right? So I don't know if you noticed a little asterisk next to free. It's really freemium, which means that there is a free version, and then as you give them more money, they will give you more features. With that said, though, they claim that the free version won't export to HTML5, and I just did that last night. So I don't know. But, and then the flip side of full featured is, right, like, it's complicated. So, and I do want to show you the live version, but so complicated. Okay, that's the start screen. Doesn't look so bad, right? I'm not sure what the difference between a new capture and a new project is, but okay, I will move on. Okay, that's more options than I was expecting for a project. And I don't know what auto FMR is, but all right, I'll just pick one and move on. Let's see. And then this is what it looks like after you've done the capture, and you're like, my God, what have I done? So yeah, it's a little complicated. However, if you're familiar with something like Camtasia Studio or Adobe Captivate, which is really expensive, this looks kind of familiar. So it's not, it does have a learning curve, but it's not the worst thing it could be. So it doesn't have to be complicated. So you can make it, this is just, and there's no sound. Actually, let me see. Wait. So this is there's no sound, because that's a lot easier to make accessible. I mean, it's not accessible to visually impaired, but it's like hearing impaired, not a problem. And this is a 31-second video. I was shooting for 30 seconds. I didn't make it. 31-second video about how to correctly format your citation in Microsoft Word. That's one of the big assignments that we get as librarians. We have them do their, works cited list, and you open their Word document and there's tab marks everywhere, and they're hitting enter, and they end up with tabs in the middle of a line because they changed something, and it's just horrific. And they're doing so much more work than they really need to be doing. So here is this 30-second video on, how to actually use the hanging indent and the double space. And the idea is that will save them time in the long run. And so I made this with Active Presenter, and like I said, so it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as that. It has the nice little call-outs, the mouse tracker, it's got the little highlight on the mouse and all that sort of thing. And that was actually relatively easy to do. But, if you want complicated, it can do that too. And so this is what I was saying with the HTML5 export, which I didn't actually realize wasn't a feature of the full of the free version until, and then so I tried it last night and it popped it up for me and worked fine. So there's a demonstration, there's a tutorial, there's practice, and then there's a test. And so you actually can so it actually creates an HTML5 web page for you, and it runs through. Here's the demonstration. You're supposed to click here. You're supposed to click here. Unfortunately, it doesn't really get the drag. So if I was actually going to use this, I would have to work on that, because it's not really getting the drag and drop, the dragging part of the. But then here's your practice. So now it's just going to sit here, because you've done the demonstration, you've done the tutorial. So now it's just going to sit here until you click on something. And so I'm going to click over here. It's going to say, nope, that was the wrong place to click. But then it hopefully pops up a little blue box. It says, click over here. And then it just moves you through it where it expects you to be clicking. So I haven't, I'll be honest with you, I mostly use it for the quick and dirty, like 30 seconds, or a minute or so, about like, this is how you limit by date. This is how you format your citation, that sort of thing. So I haven't really played around with this whole HTML5 test and, demonstrate, practice, test, but I'm amazed that it has it for free. And then, so again, you've already seen this, how to getting into it. And actually, going back again, so there were those 4 different versions of types of project you could create. And you can actually customize each one of those. You could make your own type of project. So yes, I want the mic on all the time. Yes, I want it to record. The auto FMR is, so it automatically decides when it's going to record a shot. So it records like when you click and that sort of thing. I have not found that to be as good as it could be. So I tend to use it without the auto FMR. So when I want it, so I just, if I want it to record something, I'm clicking myself. I don't need it to try to figure out what I want to click on. And again, you can see I did record this with sound. So here's my audio. And so I've got the cursor path, I've got the audio, I've got my different shapes, and I've got my mouse click. And so it's slide based. So and you can actually import a PDF. So if you have a kind of a slide based training on PDF, but you want to turn it into a video cast rather than, or you want to be able to put in call outs and that kind of thing, you can actually import I'm sorry, not PDF, PowerPoint. So you have a PowerPoint presentation that you've set up and you want to turn that into a video cast. You can do that using Active Presenter. And again, so you can go through to each individual slide, and sorry, because of the projection, you can't see much of the screen at once. But so I went through and I changed. It automatically puts in this call out for you, but it hopefully says, left click. So you can go in and you can change the text. You can change where it's pointing. You can move the mouse path around, or delete it altogether if you don't need it. But things like, so the background is a picture. So like this first line indent, I can't change that because it's the picture of the screen. But so this I can change. The mouse, the cursor I can change, and where it started and where it went to, which I think is pretty cool for free. And so like I said, you can keep going over here, all the different options you have, right? All these different things you can do. So yeah, it's not Screencast-O-Matic. It's not as easy as Screencast-O-Matic. But if you just kind of ignore all the options and just like delete all the stuff that you don't want, it can be pretty simple. So that's why I like it. It can be simple, but you can also do these other fairly complex interactions with it if you choose to. Oops. And like I said, as far as the user community, it is fairly active, so no, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. There's a Q&A community, and actually the it says it's the community. It's not just the community. So Atomi Systems is who produces Active Presenter, and their staff actually go in and answer questions that are posted to this community Q&A. So it's not just individual users talking to each other, which does happen, but then it also has answers from the actual people who write the actual software, which is kind of cool. They also have tutorials, and then they have a whole YouTube channel devoted to Active Presenter, which I think is also pretty cool. I haven't watched many of them, but it's got things, you know, stepping through. It's like so again, there is that learning curve, but there's help for you to figure it out. You're not just out there in the wilderness on your own. All right.